It'll be fun. It'll be
Yeah.
fun for you, and you'll feel like you're having an impact. The fastest way to grow it is actually through partnerships.
Coaching folks on a session like this now excites me a lot more than creating content by myself for the sake of creating it.
There he is.
Hey, Evan, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing fantastic.
So, Jeff is here, going to share his story quickly, and then however it can help, man. So, over to you. What you got?
Absolutely. So, I'm a high-performance habits coach focused on nighttime and morning rituals, really to unlock your potential, more energy, more focus, more abundance. And my story really started 5.5 years ago. I lost my mom to breast cancer. It was one of those transformational moments, punch in the gut, cut at the knees. And I knew I wanted to serve, leave a legacy, and really impact people, because you only get one chance in this world, and each day is a gift. And I want to communicate that out to the world.
Cool, man. I love it. How can I help?
So, growing my business, right? I have a program. I get transformational results for clients, but I always feel like the bottleneck is, how do I reach more people, right? How do I get my message out there? And on Facebook, on Instagram, dabble on YouTube, podcast. So what, from your experience, what would be the optimal route to growing that base, that audience, right? I'm extremely disciplined from like daily habits and rituals, right? So I have those in place. I've almost meditated 1,000 straight days, so I have it. Nice. It's just what do I put in place to?
What's the end result? You want to grow your coaching practice?
Yes.
And who are the kinds of people who are typically hiring you?
Entrepreneurs, business owners, people that are kind of stuck in a rut that need to, get out of that Groundhog Day or that never-ending loop that they're dealing with day in, day out.
And are you the kind of guy that comes in and fixes it, and then I'm with you for like 3 months and on my own, or is it like I'm with you every month for life kind of thing, or how do you work with clients?
So it's a 10-week, my signature program is a 10-week daily accountability program where we're checking in every morning that we got our morning fire routine done. We have a weekly Zoom call where I talk about mindset, negative beliefs, leadership, all those pieces through that 10-week journey.
And then after that, they're done with you?
After that, there's continuation program, or you could opt in to say, hey, I want to go one-on-one because I love the value you're giving me. I want to go even further. So there is an opportunity to kind of work further afterwards.
Cool. So 2 things come to mind. The fastest way to grow it is actually through partnerships, is actually to be on the podcasts, the shows, the YouTube channels where your target audience is hanging out. So you're not mass, because hiring you to talk to me every morning is not going to be cheap. Right? Like, what does your 10-week course or program cost? Not a course, but working with you for 10 weeks.
$4,997.
That's actually not as much as I thought it would be. But it's still not like super accessible, right? The startup entrepreneur is not going to be the one who's hiring you, probably, unless they've already had some job or something that they're. So who are the people that your target audience are listening to, and how can you be on those shows? So who do you listen to? Like, who are the shows, the programs that you pay attention to?
Johnny Lee Dumas, more, Entrepreneurs on Fire. Who else? James Wedmore, Mind Your Business podcast. Darren Hardy's, daily podcast. Those are 3 that, and Dean Graciosi's another one that I listen to pretty frequently.
So Dean doesn't have a lot of guests on, but John, that's all he does. And he's doing it. I don't know if he's still doing it daily.
I think he is still doing it daily. It's amazing how he's still doing that.
I was on his show, I don't know, 2 years ago or something. But that becomes your goal, is whoever the people are. And if you have a handful, you make your list of your top 10 people who your audience is listening to. It's not the mass. It's not the just starting up entrepreneurs. It's the people who already have a business and want to scale to the next level, and who would invest in themselves to go off and do it. And your ultimate goal would be get on John Lee Dumas, be a guest, talk about high performance habits or entrepreneurs you've helped, without naming like specifics, but like what is the fire drill morning routine that people have to go through and how it makes a huge impact. And his show is called Entrepreneurs on Fire. So that's a good, pretty fit for what you're doing. And then even running ads against his audience. So once you get that episode, you run ads against anybody who follows him on Instagram, on Facebook. I don't know how big he is on YouTube, but you run ads against it so that his audience is seeing your show. And at the end, his show is pretty short. I forget how long my interview was, like 15 minutes or something. It's
like 15. Shorter. Yeah, it's 15 to 25 minutes, I'd say.
Okay, so yeah, it's shorter than a lot of other podcasts or shows. But you know, if you're part of the audience and your target audience is part of the audience too, then that becomes like you make your top 10 list, and you're reaching out and you're trying to bring value to them. You share your story. Clients you've helped, what you work through, providing value to their community. Like, I'm paying attention. Where is John actually hanging out? Where he's responding, not just posting, but actually responding, and you being there so that you become a known quantity. And your goal is to get on the show, have a great show, download a version of it, and then I don't know if we did video. I think we did video. Ideally video, download it, and then you run it as an ad with a call to action at the end. Say, hey, if you like this episode, I do coaching. If you want to sign up for my either right to the sale of my signature 10-week program or a PDF download, a lead magnet that you've got.
Yep.
So then that's run basically just against his audience, who is going to be your target audience, and you're paying for it, but you have a business model attached to it.
Right.
So that's the sniper method. Your top 10, you get on their show, and then you run ads against their audience, and you build your list from there. Super easy. That's not trying to make you a household name yet. That's just that's how you fill up. Like, this is the fastest way to fill up your coaching practice. Apart from John putting out an email to his list to say, hey, go sign up for his code, which is possibility too, right? Like, he might do it. Maybe have some kind of commission, or you cut them in on the deal. Some people love doing that. Some people don't. But if you brought value to their community, you could definitely float by him. Otherwise, you run the ads against his audience, and it's the fastest way to grow. The longer term plays is content. The longer term play is you building a marketing machine that people know you, they recognize you, and people come to you without you having to go out and being on other people's shows. That's a multi-year kind of play, right? I mean, you're in this for life. Like, you're going to be 90 and still wanting to help people build their habits, have an impact, build better lives. So this is with an ear towards building a brand for yourself, which then gets you book deals and speaking gigs, and people reach out to you to be guests on shows, right? Like, today, it's all I've been doing is being guests on people's shows because of the brand that I've built up. Is that, like, ultimately, do you want to be doing speaking? Do you want to have a book deal?
Absolutely. I actually just published my book about 3 weeks ago. So actually self-published. And yes, I want to be speaking. I want to be impacting. I want to bring in that energy, that fire, that passion, and move people past where they're stuck and getting to that next level through those habits and rituals. Yeah.
So James Clear is a great example who's done it.
Love him.
Fairly recently. He's done it mostly through his newsletter that he's built up, and people recommend the newsletter. He's done some video. I don't know if he has a podcast, but it's mostly through written. So when you see someone like James go on a bunch of shows, he's in promotion mode and he's trying to sell something, right? Atomic Habits, trying to sell the book, which is great. So again, like, that will help you get if you wanted to get, I don't know how many clients you could take on at once, because you're calling them every morning. So you can't have 100 people at the same time.
Well, I do. It is a small group coaching model. So we're all checking in on a daily basis through Voxer, and everybody's saying, hey, I'm complete. So it does have some scalability to it.
But how many people could go through your 10-week program at a time?
I mean, it could be up to 100 at a time could go through it.
Okay. That's actually not bad. That's not a bad number. But you should be able to get your 100 just by doing that sniper strategy, get on those 10 shows, and then run ads against their audience, because it's a sizable audience. And what they're doing is listening to the episode, and then at the end is a call to action to get your lead magnet and be in your funnel, or just sign up and join your program. Most of those interviews are timeless stuff anyway. Like what you're talking about is timeless.
Right.
Right. So I try to make sure that the interview is not just talking about coronavirus habits or something, because you want to be thinking in 5 years, I still want to be, you could talk about coronavirus habits, I'm sure, and how to deal with this current situation. But in 2 years, that ad is not going to be very helpful for you. So gearing it towards timeless principles, which I'm sure most of your stuff is anyway. Right. So then the content game becomes the ongoing, I'm building my brand. This is a forever thing that I want to put out into the world. And what have you been doing content-wise, especially video?
So I have been doing some Facebook Live video, and then I'll repurpose that to my YouTube channel every so often. I'm not as diligent in repurposing, but I do like how YouTube, right, it doesn't disappear in a certain time, right? You can be getting the views on videos over and over again for a long extended period. To your point, hey, that's going to live on and should transfer 5 years, 10 years down the road from that perspective. So I put a lot of daily content, short videos, just inspirational quotes, quotes from inspirational leaders, and those type of things. And I run my podcast. I have 3 episodes I drop on Mondays, and then I do interviews on Wednesday with successful entrepreneurs.
Okay. The Facebook Lives are people coming in, or it's you talking to the camera?
Just me talking to the camera, typically.
Okay. And are you editing that YouTube, or you just download and put it to YouTube?
I edit a bit and kind of put my Burning Fire logo at the end and a couple pieces, but probably not as professional as I need to have it be. And I would probably look to farm that out to somebody else, because that's just not my area of expertise.
Sure. Okay, so a couple of things inside of the content. So the sniper strategy we get, you can start working on right away, and that can get your first 100. But the brand building, 1, Facebook Lives typically suck as content on the repeat because the beginning of a Facebook Live sucks. Hey guys, welcome. Oh, it's Thursday, and you're waiting for people to join, right?
Right.
You're waiting for people, even if people know, like if people know that Thursday is at 2:00, you're going live.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
I'll use StreamYard, so I'll schedule it so they'll know I'll be popping on there.
Perfect.
Yep.
The first 5 minutes suck, not because you suck, just because that's the game. You're waiting for people to join in live, and so you're just filling it with air, which is fine in a live setting. But in YouTube, it sucks because nobody wants to sit through the first 5 minutes of your video to get to the gold that's going to be in there. But especially if they don't know who you are, which is your goal. Your aim is to reach people who don't know you, right? Even my channel yesterday, 87% of my audience are non-subscribers on YouTube. That's channel, awesome. Which means you're growing. It's a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So nobody's going to sit through 5 minutes of garbage talk with some dude that they don't know, right?
Right.
So the 2 ways to do it is 1, editing, and you cut out the first part, or 2, you treat it like David Letterman or Jay Leno monologue at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So as people are joining, you are already in the middle of a monologue on something. So you think, I'm going to lead with a 5-minute monologue on habits, on productivity, on all the stuff that you're great at. Mm-hmm. And especially the first 3 sentences to have a powerful opinion. So it's not like, hey guys, welcome back. No, it's like right into something that you believe that other people don't believe. Like the first words out of your mouth. It's live streaming, great. Boom, give me something, right? Mm-hmm. That really works well in a YouTube environment. And then after the couple minutes monologue, you're welcoming people and everything else, but you've hooked people already to join in. So you're already thinking this is going to be content that's going to live in other places, not just a Facebook Live that we happen to be trying to put in other places. Right. So that's what you can do with no editing. Like you don't need an editor for that. You just have to be conscious of yourself that the first couple minutes is really valuable. And you can do that. You just have to be in that mindset that, okay, today's topic is X, and I'm going to go on my couple-minute monologue, and then we're going to get to what's after that. Is it Q&A? Like, what are you doing inside those lives? Sometimes it's Q&A, right? People will pop in comments, and I'll talk about them. But a decent amount of it is the monologue and teaching some, the 3 ways to battle negativity or something of that nature. Cool. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Your podcasts are all video?
Podcast is all out on iTunes, and then I repurpose some of it for YouTube as well.
But you're filming it, right? It's not just
Yep,
audio.
yep. It's film, it's audio and video. Yep.
Perfect. I would think like podcast and YouTube. Think of it always so everything is a video. Like we're not doing any audio only stuff. It's all video because that gives you the maximum capability to cut and paste.
Yep.
Podcast and YouTube is the long form, and everything else is cut little pieces from the longer stuff. I'd be very careful about quoting other people, and even having guests on your show, unless it's somebody that you can. I'd be looking at this as somebody who is an equal, who we're going to banter and have a discussion with.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just trying to I do a lot of thought leadership DJing. Hey, let's go learn from whatever. But I'm not trying to sell a coaching program or position myself as the time management or morning routine guy.
Right.
So I don't care what quote you put from Jim Rohn. I want to know. Did you get that? I don't care what quote you have from Jim Rohn or whoever I want to know you. Mm-hmm. You're the expert. You're the Jim Rohn of morning routines and habits and rituals, scheduling, right? So I'm the thought leader, I'm the expert, and unless somebody coming on is going to be a big name that then I can target, right? Like if Johnny Dumas comes on, you could target his audience with something, but otherwise it's easy to fall into Larry King mode where you're interviewing somebody.
Right.
But your goal isn't to be Larry King.
Right.
Like, what is Larry King selling? I don't know. He does interviews, but he's not selling his own coaching program. You don't think of him as the expert at something besides being a great interviewer. So this is a hole a lot of people have fallen into where they struggle with their own content because they're so focused on experts and guests coming on.
Right.
I would love to, in addition, see a coaching series with you.
Okay.
So whatever you want to sell and make money at, show me the process of you doing it. Okay. When you're coaching somebody, I'm sure there's multiple times where they freak out and their eyes bug out. And it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't, like you help people get breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I want to see that on film because I can learn through somebody else's breakthrough and think maybe he can help me too.
Yeah, it's relatable to people.
And it shows how good you are besides just being a guy who can talk into the camera. Right? So most people aren't hiring you right now to be a speaker. They're hiring you to be a coach. So don't show me you speaking, show me you coaching. Gotcha. Yep. Love it. So now some people may not want their issues kind of made public in all that. So that's fine. So you can have, if you have your paying clients, and then this could be a free thing, either a bonus for your paying clients or a free thing for some people on your list or people who follow you on Instagram, that if it's public, it's free. If it's private, it's paid. Right. I'm happy to help you private, not make it public, but it's $4,500 or $4,900 for 10 weeks. This is my program. Some people won't be able to afford that, but you could still help them in a free setting and still make their eyes bug out. But now you're getting content that you can use for your platforms. Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great switch to showing value and people actually relating and getting breakthroughs and seeing it working rather than me just preaching or getting up there and speaking about it. And the great thing about that is, it's what you want to do. If you said, my goal is I want to be the biggest speaker in the world, it's a different model. The coaching doesn't help you as much, but you want to build your coaching practice first. This is right up your alley. And you don't have to prepare anything. So when you're making a talking head video, you have to kind of prepare what you're going to talk about and get ready. Yep. And for coaching, all the just content, like this, like, I don't even know what we're talking about. I just show up and you bring me questions and we talk. Right? Yep. So much easier because you're just getting on and you're coaching and it's what you do. It's easier because you know how to coach and you know what you're doing. You've been putting in the decades of work. So now it's easy because you can just show up. This actually terrifies most people because they don't have a deep enough well of knowledge and they're afraid of getting exposed or caught out with a question that they don't know how to handle. You're actually legit and have been doing it and can handle No, you might not know how to take care of a garden or something, but anything around habits, routines, schedules, you already know how to handle because you have the pattern recognition if you've done it so many times with so many people.
Yep.
So it's
Absolutely.
easy for you, but the hardest for most people.
Yep.
Right? Most people
Absolutely.
would much rather just have a script and talking to the camera and not have to do something live where they might be exposed for not knowing an answer.
Yeah, see, that's the exact opposite. I love going live and off the cuff rather than having a script to try and read from, because I think it's so much more authentic, and you can deliver a lot more value that way.
Yeah, and again, if you're a coach, then show me you coaching, and it'll be fulfilling for you. It'll actually be fun instead of just, okay, I gotta go make content for my community. Like now you're actually seeing somebody in front of you and seeing their lives transform from the wisdom and knowledge that you have. So I would lean super heavy on making coaching videos over just talking head videos, and definitely over interviews, unless there's a good strategic gain for you to get the interview. Like again, you have John Lee Dumas, you interview him, and then you target his audience with what you provide.
Yeah, and I think that's really my approach from the interview perspective, is one, to get them on the show and learn a morning or nighttime habit ritual that they use, but also build those relationships to eventually say, hey, I'd love to connect and see if I could provide value to your group.
Yeah, so it's biz dev, but also just targeting. You don't even need them to talk about you any more than what you've already done. Like you can use that interview with them and target their audience. Like who's one of the bigger people that you've had on your show?
Yeah, I just had you on last week.
Right? So you could target my audience,
right,
with the video, and then get people who are watching me who don't know you but are my subscribers will watch it, and then if you had some bonus at the end to say, hey, if you want you can even make a custom, like I don't remember everything we talked about in the interview, but if you took some of the most important questions and then turn that into a resource for people, that leads to you getting their email, that then you can have them sign up for your programs.
Right.
That's super smart. And thinking of it that way, so you don't even need me to say, hey, everybody go sign up for this program. You've already got the interview, just go target my audience. You got a business model attached to it. So you do Facebook Lives once a week?
I've been a little bit inconsistent lately. I mean, I did like every day for the month of May. I just put a challenge out there for myself.
Okay. What's the ongoing strategy plan?
Don't really have one. So that's where I think,
okay,
to your point, coaching folks on a session like this now excites me a lot more than creating content by myself for the sake of creating it.
You could do a date. So, okay, you need to have a little bit of editing though with a show when you're coaching, because the start of a coaching session sucks. Because you're getting to know them, you're waiting for them to join, your background information, who they are, and like you have to have context questions that you're asking them, and then you get to your advice. But that may come 7 minutes into the show. The start still sucks. So you need to think about what are the best moments from the interview, and then throw that to the beginning.
Gotcha.
Oh my God, I can't believe I can do that. Right, like that's the lead, because that may have come 20 minutes into the coaching.
Right, that's the hook, and shows that somebody actually got a breakthrough on the session for them to watch.
Yeah. But you could do a daily show. That's like, this is what I do. I do a daily 25-minute show. You're on it right now.
Yeah.
And then this is Instagram, and then you could download it and then just flip it so that we're going to do this for this show. Like instead of it being here, it can be side by side. We just basically cut this in half and we flip it, and then YouTube's this way. So that becomes a YouTube video for you. And then you take out the moments, and that's not difficult editing. Like you're not having things fly in and you become Thor or something, right? Like,
How did you know? How'd you know my guy?
Right?
Was Thor? How did you know? How did you know?
Like that's not fancy editing. This is super basic stuff, because the quality content is going to be the thoughts, the actual process of unlocking somebody. So that could even be a daily show. I mean, it takes 25 minutes to do versus however long it takes you to set up for a for a podcast and the lighting and the cameras for your own show and Facebook Lives and all that. And even when I do a lot of my interviews, I default to Instagram Live first before we'll do Zoom or anything else. If they don't want to do it, then like Jay Shetty we're doing next week. He's got a new book coming up, and we'll do it as an Instagram Live.
Nice.
And then we'll download it and put it to YouTube.
I like the strategy. I like your approach as well on the coaching piece rather than just out there streaming out content and preaching, right? It's showing value and that's relatable to people.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun for you, and you'll feel like you're having an impact. I know you're already feeling in your business that you're having an impact. Obviously, you get to talk to these guys every day and you see the transformation in a 10-week period. But these people you may never see again, the people who are doing it for free, but at least you feel in the content that the content is helping somebody as opposed to just making content and it living somewhere out there on the internet.
And it absolutely lights me up. I mean, I get off of Zoom calls or one-on-one calls and I'll leave the office and I'm so fired up and talking to my wife, and it's just amazing. I mean, that's what gets me up, at the crack of dawn and hitting it each and every day.
It can even be a part of your morning routine. Like I know you have your disciplined schedule, but maybe at the end of it, okay, we end with going live on Instagram and you book people in, right? So we booked this with my assistant, but if I don't have somebody booked, I'll just go live. And there's always people who want to join in. But at the start, I booked everybody. And you could, you don't need to have a lot of followers. I don't know how many followers you have on Instagram, but if you have 100 followers, some of those people are going to want to do it with you.
Right.
Or the people who have been through your system or have follow-up questions or, old leads that didn't convert. Like you can book a person a day if you wanted to and do a quick 25-minute show, change their lives.
Like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
And you get content.
Yep. Love it.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.